Hello, Brother Crafting family. I'm Angela Wolf, Brother Brand Ambassador, and look who's with us today.
Hi, I'm Flaum, Brand Ambassador. I'm so excited to join you today, Angela.
I'm so excited. So we are taking over the Brother Crafting YouTube and Facebook pages, and we can see all the comments and questions. We can't wait to see everyone. So hi, everyone. Say hello. Say where you're from. I'm very excited what you have in plan for us this month, May.
Well, you know what? We're at the end of like the most tremendous heat wave in history for here, like reaching temperatures it's never reached. And it's been 2 weeks of triple digits and it's just crazy. So I can't turn on the extra studio lights because it's already so hot in here. I'll literally melt. So I'm really looking forward to fall, and I wanted to share a fun idea that's super easy to just add a little fun to your kitchen or to your front hall, wherever you might want. Just add a little customization, because I don't know about you, but for me, this time of year through the end of the year is when I get really super into like little cute extras and having just more decorations around the house.
You know, I never used to be so much like that until I started doing live shows with you. And then you show such great projects that are fast and easy. Now I'm kind of addicted to the fall for Thanksgiving, all the way through the holidays. I'll go through my little May book. What did May do last year and the year before? That's super cute, super easy, and I can do it with the ScaNCut.
There's so many fun ideas. And I mean, we can get complicated. So I'll show you guys a peek at something I'm working on. It's very much in progress, but I'm working on an apron.
Oh.
And yes, the bottom is all ragged because I don't need it to be straight. I was using a remnant piece of fabric. But I'm working on an apron. So I'm very proud of myself because I got all 4 minis all lined up nice and straight and embroidered. I drew a line with my pen where I wanted the edge of the embroidery hoop to be. So that I lined that up along as I kept shifting it down the line. And I was shocked that it worked, but it did. I got that done. So I've got all the pieces. So today's project, once we're done here, today's project is finish this because I actually need it this weekend. So I've been working on all kinds of stuff from that, which is a little more in my brain because I have a vision, no pattern. It's just freestyle.
Well, so I think it's a little more.
We're going to take a break to the other end.
Did you get 4 minis on there, May?
I did. I did 4.
Everybody's like, "Oh, we can't wait till you show that project. That's going to be
fun."
fun.
That'll be when you guys are watching this, you'll be able to see that on my social media for sure, because I'm going to be using it during a demo for the ScaNCut. So that's going to be super, super fun to wear. I always like wearing aprons. I always like to have a little pocket. And I can't always count that my outfit has a good pocket. So I like to build myself aprons with good pockets. But today we're going to do the opposite end. So we'll just do one of these. But these are just like 2 little glass containers that I picked up. You could do even smaller. You could do bigger. The size is totally up to you. How big, how small, what do you want to make? This one, I'm just looking at it, and when we're at my table, I always have a grid mat down, and that helps me to know this is 3 by 3. So we know that that's all the way to the edges is 3 by 3. So we know we want whatever we make to be smaller than 3 by 3. So that's helpful. I would recommend a low tack mat, or you can use a standard mat if your standard mat is used a bit. You know, if it's not brand new and super sticky, then you can use a regular mat. And we're not using it today, but I just want to remind everybody, this is my 12 by 24 mat that's in need of cleaning, as I can see. But if you're doing mass production, if you're doing holiday production of lots and lots of projects, don't forget there's 12 by 24 mats so that you can produce more at one time instead of having to continuously go back and cut more. This has been great as I've been doing some of my fall projects. Just being able to take all of it and fit it all onto the one really helps.
I love that big mat. So May, while you're getting your phone set up, I will for some reason I can't see your ScaNCut.
Oh, okay.
It just decided to go on a vacation. It was so excited about everything. So while May's getting that cut up, I would totally agree on that bigger mat. And I would love to know in the comments, have you ever tried it? Because you can cut an entire skirt well, pieces of a skirt. I don't know if you get the whole width in, an entire sleeve, and what else did I do on there? Some collars, all in one. So those of you that are in the garments. And all right, I'm getting May back in here so we can see her fabulous ScaNCut. You're back.
I'm back, and I don't know why it's being naughty today, but we'll hopefully the gremlins of the internet will behave themselves.
It's the beautiful weather, and you know this always happens during a live show if it's going to happen. So
of course, always and forever. Okay, so we have here the ScaNCut. We're on the SDX 230Di. This is, of course, the one with Disney patterns built on in, and I always forget this, so I always try early in the season to remind myself that in the general Mickey, Minnie, and Friends patterns, way back at the end, there's Christmas and Halloween little treat boxes, and there's also a Mickey Mouse and a Minnie Mouse pumpkin. Now, I told you guys that we want to go smaller than 3, so I'm going to just say width about 2, and I'm going to say 2.5 because I want a little more wiggle room. So I'm just going to set the width here, and that's going to set the total size. And I'm going to cut one of those, set, and then I'm going to add the stem, and I'm going to add Mickey's head. Okay, so I'm just going to spread these out a bit. And I'm going to add, there's his little eyes. Okay, and then we're going to go back and add. We're going to go to pattern. So we have to go back to pattern because as long as we're cutting, I always like to multitask. And we want to get Minnie Mouse as well. So we're going to do the same thing with 2.5. And I'm going to do the same thing. So the only thing I'm going to do here is make sure I know I'm going to go one on top of the other. Mickey Mouse is on the top. I'm not entirely sure that they look the same, but you know how that goes. You don't want to just eyeball if they are in fact the same. So Minnie Mouse is going to go underneath Mickey Mouse. That way when I cut them out, I'll know whose parts are whose. Except, of course, we have the bow. And I'll just leave the bow in the middle here. And the eyes are going to be very obviously different. Minnie's got little eyelashes. Okay. And then the other thing I need to do is here, you can see how on my mat it's showing the arrow down and I have all this empty room. That's because I told the ScaNCut that we were going to be working with a 12 by 20 format because that's what I was working with yesterday. So we're just switching. That's where you switch back and forth to tell it how much space are we working with. And when I do that, you can see it goes back to just being the regular mat there. And I think, yeah, that was probably good. Don't want to go too far down. Okay. So we can go ahead and cut here, but before we get that far ahead of ourselves, we want to pull out our mat. And I always like to get to this point. We're just going to scoot this out of the way for a moment. I like to get to this point, and then I will look at just kind of approximately what kind of sizes we're talking about. And it looks like this will be enough, but it's wider than I need. So I'm just going to trim this down a little bit. And I save all my scraps. And if you guys go back through our past episodes, you will see lots and lots of shows with scrap usage because we do so much with it. There's so much to be done. And then of course I need my orange. And again, I know I need about 6 inches high and at least 3 inches wide. So I'm eyeballing this part. Let's see. I usually try to line up my edges there. And then I need 3 more colors. I need white, which that is not white vinyl. That is I grabbed stabilizer instead of grabbing vinyl. That's not going to work quite the same now, is it? Okay. So I'll grab a piece of white, and then we need green and we need purple. Just set
Hey,
that aside.
May, while you're collecting all of those pieces, just a question for you. Is this design built into the ScaNCut, and what model are you using right now?
It is. This is the SDX 230Di, and this is built right into the machine. So it is right there waiting for you, which I think it just makes it so nice to just be able to start creating and not have to think about, well, gosh, you know, what am I going to use? What am I going to do? We're going back to the rainbow wall for a moment behind me. So I just need to grab a scrap of green, and I keep all my little scraps. So in this container, there's all kinds of vinyl and scraps so that when I go to create, there's whole sheets too at times, but when I go to create, I can go through here and make sure that every little bit gets used. And that's one of my favorite things to do is, you know, we can find bits and pieces of things and make the most of them.
Good organizing tips. I think one of my favorite tips from you for organizing is when you had that whole like walking bin, almost like a wall thing, and you put different scraps by colors. That was one of the best tips. I don't know if you all saw that one, but leave a comment below because that was definitely one of my favorite tips.
Well, I like vinyl's not cheap, so I really, especially with more expensive materials, like to try to maximize, but I don't like to waste in general. So being able to get everything nice and set, there we go. Our vinyl roll wants to roll away. We'll just try to tuck it away there. Okay, so we need to load the mat. And I love how easy the built-in designs make this, because as long as you just, and these will be the same steps, no matter what we're creating, it'll always be the same steps. We're going to press this button here. That's probably especially when I'm in holiday create mode, that's probably my most used button, is it scans the mat. And it's not doing anything with the information. It's really just taking a photo for your use. Because when it comes through, as you're about to see, we can see where all the pieces are. And then we can move our pieces to optimize where everything is. And the only one that can be a little tricky is the white, because it's a little harder to see. So what you're really looking for is the absence of the dotted grid. Okay, that looks pretty good. And you can see it's all there. So it shows us all what it's going to cut. And then here in our tools, half cut is on. So this machine has an auto blade, which means the blade, as you're about to see, the blade is going to check the material, check the depth, and then cut. And what half cut means, half cut is primarily, we use that for stickers and for vinyl. And what it's going to do is it's going to cut through the vinyl, but it's not going to cut through. So the vinyl is on one side, and the other side, the other half is the backing material. If you've ever taken a sticker or a stamp off a sheet, you know exactly what we're talking about. It's the backing material, and we like to leave that whole. So the easiest way to do that is you tell the auto blade half cut, and it will gently cut through the vinyl, and it will not tear up the backing material, which is just so nice.
And it's so quiet.
It's so nice and quiet. I know the other day I was cutting a whole bunch of things, and it was like a 22-minute cut, really, really long. And I was doing other stuff and listening to a show, and I totally forgot it was even running. And it bonked me. You know, the mat bonked me as it was pushed, as I'm walking past it, it pushed. I'm like, oh, that's right. You're still cutting for me. I forgot. Oh, but you can hear it's all nice and quiet. And it's pretty quick too. And it's showing us there's less than a minute left. So you can kind of see where it is in the order. And if you ever see it kind of jumping spot to spot and you wonder why, it's going to go in the order that you brought the patterns in. So in this case, Mickey Mouse got done first, now Minnie Mouse. So the Minnie Mouse bow just got done. Now Minnie Mouse's eyes are getting cut.
That's good to know, because I can think of a few times I brought in quite a few different things, and it would go just, as you mentioned, one way up here, one way down here. So that's really good to know as you bring stuff in.
Yeah, it's as you bring stuff in, and I always note that just because sometimes I can kind of forget like what's going on, and I don't. Oh, there it is. I'm gonna say I don't see my trusty pick tool, but there it is. All right. So you can. It's up to you if you want to try to save material. Then all you would do is cut around, or use. Oh, what is it called? The weeding circle, the weeding line.
Oh yeah, the weeding box.
The weeding box, that's the one. So you can use the weeding box. You can use that to save more material. Or not. That's always, depends on what you're making, depends on what you're doing. So we have our Mickey Minnie, and now I just need to get all the pieces. And if you're wondering why I tend to, although we can unload from the machine, why I tend to check it while it's on the mat, that's so, and this is going to be a little tiny bit wasteful, but I'm just going to be okay with that because I can't quite tell. There it is. I couldn't quite tell where I'd put Minnie Mouse, so I like to do this on the mat because if for any reason there was a problem, if the backing material is still on the mat, you're going to be able to recut if you need to. So I always show you guys this for that reason, because if you, and I really cannot tell where that is. It's somewhere in there though. We know that, right? Oh, there it is. There it is. Oh, don't be stubborn. If it gets a little stubborn, you can kind of help it along there with your tool. Look at that. Just like so. And I know sometimes some of you say, oh, well, you know, it looks easy. It really is easy as long as you're taking your time and just remember all the steps. And you can always go back to our videos here and remind yourself of the steps, remind yourself of what you're doing so that you can make sure that you get it right. Because the biggest things, and I think, Angela, this is true for a lot of sewing too, when you start to try to rush and push through too quickly and skip things, that tends to be when problems come up.
I'm laughing. I won't tell you about my seam ripper story this morning, so we'll just leave that.
Well, you know, my apron that I was showing you guys, I started that 3 weeks ago, and the reason it's not done is I just have not, and I know last minute, but I never finished it because I just wasn't in. There were too many other things, and I was multitasking, and so the actual assembly for me, the idea part and the pieces is the easy part. The actual making sure I'm assembling it correctly and doing things correctly is the harder part for me. So for me, I needed to wait until I was in a really strong mental place where I could handle it. And I got to tell you guys, I'm not promising that I'm in that place today, but I'm out of time. So, but it's also the only project on my plate today. Everything else is done. I'm packed for my trip. I've got everything else set. So theoretically, it's going to work out well. Now what I've got, it comes on a roll. Brother sells this. It is transfer material. And I really like the Brother transfer material specifically because I find that I like the texture of it and the thickness of it. It's really easy to work with. Basically what this does is this is going to take whatever we're putting onto it. And let's do Mickey Mouse first. And we're going to be able to take this, push that back just a little more. And we're going to be able to place our little face. And the way I'm doing this, there's two different ways to do this, and I'll show you guys both. So what I'm doing here is just kind of building the design. So taking the pieces that would be on the top, and I think he is on, let's see, I think he's on the side there. I'm kind of looking at his little pumpkin head here and figuring out. Okay, no, he's in the middle. Okay. So this is in the middle. And I actually think it looks better behind. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to put this on the yellow one, like so. And basically what I'm doing here is I'm building a sticker. So he's a layered sticker. We've got the orange and the yellow and the white and the green. But what I am doing is using this transfer material to put all the layers together. So we had to go, the top layer is the white eyes. So I went from the top to the bottom. We could have just put this pumpkin onto the yellow. Would have been fine. The orange pumpkin onto the yellow and then done the others. But you want to stop. That's that patience thing. You want to stop and think about where exactly you're going with it. And then it's up to you. If you want to not use the sticker right now, you can get it to stay right there where it is. Or if you were ready, or whenever you're ready, we're going to transfer this onto our project. So this transfer material, it's sticky, so it'll hold the vinyl sticker and attract the vinyl sticker, but it's also lightly sticky. So for example, it's not going to stick itself to our little glass here. Now look how cute this is going to be with little candy corns or candies in it.
Oh my gosh.
Line this up however you would like and just press. How cute is this going to be? And I actually think, I think it'd be really fun to have like a big jar with a lid that you could like have ribbons and beads dangling off of. Like you could get really fancy. Ours today is all about simplicity because things, I know a lot of people have kids just back in school and different things going on and it can be a little chaotic. So we're keeping it simple today, but you could make it super fancy. So look at that.
Oh my gosh, that's so cute, May.
And you see how I tucked his little stem in just so there wasn't like a hard line of that stem. So I tucked that between the two layers. So we could repeat that if we want. I just want to go to the opposite side now though. And you see on the inside, it's not ugly either because we got our yellow little Mickey there. Okay, so the other way that we could do this, so you guys saw how we built that before. Now what we're gonna do is we're going to do the opposite. So we're going to, and if you notice me really pressing down, we just want to make sure that everything is really nice and stuck down. Another thing that using transfer material does versus just peeling and putting a sticker, it helps avoid things like the little air bubbles that you could get or just other little problems that could happen from trying to just lift the sticker. So in this way, what I'm doing is I'm still building it, but I started at the bottom and I placed it directly onto my project. So I'm going to be building it onto the project. And there's not a right or wrong. It's just, for me, it depends what's the project and how will it work the best. Let's see, I need to get right over this so I make sure to do this well. And remember, you can hover. You see I have my fingers and I'm not bending it. I have my fingers under here and want to make sure to get that nice and straight so that the little gaps there show through. But what we do not want is we don't want yellow around the edges. And I'm really finding one of my personal favorites right now is that I keep finding patterns in the ScaNCut. Now, there are some sewing machines that you can have your ScaNCut talk to your sewing machine. You could do all kinds of fancy stuff. But you can also do things like, you know, if I have this, I could do completely separate patterns that coordinate, but aren't actually, they coordinate, what would we say? They're coordinated, but they're not like actually a part of each other. We can do that too. And then we're going to put our little bow. So this time we built it directly on the project. Just another option for you. And I'll show you similar. I was talking about coordinated. You can see similar here. My little,
oh my gosh, May, that's so cute.
So I love when that will work out. Look at how cute that is.
I like that. And so on this one, you actually took the bow and put it on the top. And the other one with the green, the little pumpkin stump, you put it behind the first layer.
I did because I didn't feel like I wanted that edge of the stem to be such a hard edge. I felt like I wanted the curve of the pumpkin. And that's one of those things where
good.
It's personal choice. And we did this onto here, but how cute would this be on like t-shirts, or little baby onesies? So that would be so cute. Or you know what? A kitchen towel would be super cute. I mean, there's so many projects that you could make. And I stuck pretty traditional, but I've actually done this in like a coral or a peach when I wanted an alternate pumpkin color. So you could mix it and match it depending on what do you feel like doing and what kind of time commitment. And we can do this. This is the normal, well, I call it normal, but just the vinyl that's like it's like a sticker, and it can stick to surfaces. We're working on glass. It'll stick to plastic. It'll stick to paper. It'll stick to a lot of different things. It won't really stick to fabric, at least not permanently. But think of like, if you went and got a sticker, what would you expect the sticker to stick to? Those are the things that we would expect these stickers to stick to.
And that's probably a question that comes up more often than ever. That I see the comments scrolling through is there a special vinyl you have to use to make it stick to glass? And you just answered that.
Yeah, as long as it's this kind. And then the other main type of vinyl that we'll see would be the heat transfer, where you've got the iron and you're pressing it. And we've done that a lot on this show. And I love my heat transfer vinyl, but I got to tell you, it's so much faster. And on a hot day, so much nicer to just get out stickers and have nice, cool stickers to be working with versus adding extra heat. It's just so, and you can just picture it with little candies in there. And you could even add, like, if you had little phrases you wanted to add, if you had other characters or other fun things you wanted to add, there's all kinds of things that we can do.
Oh, yeah. That is super, super cute, May. Another fabulous project. Doesn't surprise me. And now it's just in time for Halloween, too. I love this.
It is, but also nice and easy. And this is one, too, where, you know what? Sometimes I'll do something like this and put, like, let's see if I've got a few over here. Like, we can put this in our office if we want to make our office cute, and we could put our scissors or our pens and pencils and tools. I mean, we could then have seasonal, super cute holder of things. Or, all the little ScaNCut tools that I lose all the time. So we can make things cute. And I love being able to customize whatever I might want to make. And with this, every year I do something with this pattern. Last year it was a pillow. And I did a pillow and I did stitching on it and kind of applique some of it and vinyl some of it. And that was a lot of fun. I think one year I made little treat bags. So I'm always doing something different, but I still get so much joy because it's such a classic Disney pattern. And if you've ever gone to the Disney parks this time of year, there's giant, bigger than life pumpkins of these guys out. So I love being able to match that too, or bring that experience back into my house.
Super, super fun. And don't forget, above is hashtag Brother ScaNCut. If you do this project or any of the projects that May shows you, be sure to share that on social. And by the way, May, I also put your website scrolling down below for anyone who wants to go binge watch some great videos on your YouTube channel. I also put the Brothers Sews in case you want to go check out. They've got a ton of new stuff on there. At the end of this month, we've got the Artspiria app coming out, which is going to be very exciting, and so many more things. So May, this is such a fun, easy project. I just have one question for you. If you wanted to put this on a coffee mug, you probably would hand wash it. Then you probably shouldn't put it in the dishwasher. Do you think
that's a great question. So there are actually, or like, I know my daughters are really big into like the water bottles, the fancy water bottles and that kind of stuff. There are actually sticker vinyls that are specifically waterproof or specifically permanent that are designed to handle even hand washing, that are designed to handle it. I don't actually know the ones I used. I don't know that they were, but of course for something like this, we don't need it to be. We're not worried about it. We're just hand wash whatever we need to do. So you want to make sure for a project like that, that you're using the waterproof permanent, like the super heavy duty stuff, so that your stuff will stick. And if you're not sure, you can always contact whoever you got it from and figure that out. But that would be the best way. And I think you're right. I think you still want to hand wash it because you want to control that temperature. You don't want it boiling away I don't know about your dishwasher, but mine gets scary hot. So
it's scary hot. And I only asked that because I put some vinyl and it was in a bin. So I didn't have it labeled and I thought it was one that could withstand the heat. And I think it had a W with an A on it. And by the time I was finished, I ended up with almost like a P because I lost half of my A and half of my W. So it was definitely not one for, but I mentioned that because I know this would be really cute on cups or things like that. So just hand wash them.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, my goodness. That would be such a cute cup.
I know.
Or if you have a little one on the sippy cup would be so cute.
Oh, yes, it would.
Like a little sippy cup with I know. I'm going to end up with pumpkin. Mickey Minnie pumpkins are just going to be all over the house.
This is such a fun project. Well, May, this is amazing. So don't forget, I'll leave your comments and questions in the chat. And we will monitor that for you. And social team from Brother always comes back and checks if you have any questions. And May, I can hardly wait to see what you have for next month. But this one's going to keep me busy for a few weeks.
I know. I'm going to be playing with those. There's so many different things. I just think we could make them teeny. We could even make them tinier or out of like shrink plastic or something. Or, well, no, that wouldn't work because we got multiple layers. But we could do something and like make dangly earrings. I mean, there's so many, we have so many options. I always say with our ScaNCut, it's always limited by what can you think of. Because there are so many things we can do.
Very fun. Well, May, thank you so much again for your inspiration. Brother, thank you for letting your brand ambassadors take over the page. Any last things you want to add, May?
I don't think so. I'm just so excited. I would love to hear from you if you make something like this. I always love seeing it. And you, like Angela said, we've got our websites there and you can find links to all the social media. So we'll hope to see you around the internet.
All right. Bye, everyone. Thanks for watching. Thanks, May.